Hello and welcome to our presentation about the colonization of Europa. In today's presentation, we'll be mainly talking about the possible reasons on why it is important for us to colonize other planets, the challenges that are waiting for us, technologies that will make the colonization easier, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of colonizing Europa. These will be the key questions for our presentation, and without further ado, let's get started. A lot of people might be wondering why we have decided to colonize Europa. The reason is because of Europa's ocean and key chemical processes occurring in the water. It may contain some sort of life forms, and erupting from the icy crust itself, salt enriched water is also moving within the moon's surface and eventually forming packets of water.
There are several reasons why we need to colonize another planet. The first reason is that we need a secondary planet that will allow the human to reboot itself in case catastrophe strikes. The urgency to establish humanity as a multi-planet species has also been revalidated by the emergency of worldwide pandemic and man-made natural catastrophe. The other reasons are to safeguard the existence of humanity in the event that something catastrophic were to happen. And to be sure, humans will need to escape the world since the sun will make the place inhabitable in 1 billion years.
Colonizing other planets is not an easy task, and the mission sees a lot of obstacles that we need to overcome. We will need something to protect ourselves from the deadly radiation and living or working in a calm environment. We will also need to fight against the low gravity environment, the lack of food or water, and dust on the moon's surface. The mission also poses physiological problems as well, since there be isolation inside artificial structure, in space or on planetary surface.
In order to complete the mission, there are several areas where we have to innovate in order to make the mission way easier to finish. The first innovation solution is to use genetic engineering. Genetic engineering may be used to better adapt humans, their crops, and other biota who live in space or on other planetary surfaces, to withstand the effect of low or microgravity, radiation, and the psychological effect of long-duration spaceflight. Subordination is also a good choice to help humans modify and enhance our body or brain. And the process will influence the evolutionary trajectory of future population living on exoplanets or in spacecraft. We could also transform the sun's energy using large solar panels into electricity.
We do have some essential needs that need to be obtained for the mission, and the list includes breathable air, which contains oxygen, drinkable water or a substance that can rehydrate us, a space with nutrients or food that will be carried along with us, and lastly, some sort of heat that will contact our skin.
After all the content mentioned before, you may be wondering what are the pros of Europa and why it's so interesting. First of all, the planet contains water and rocky sea floor, and with the interaction between the ocean and the rock, it is possible to be full of chemical nutrients for living organisms. Europa also gets intense radiation from Jupiter to break down molecules, and these chemical substances can be formed into new compounds that are essential for microbial life. And the most important part is that Europa may have a variety of processes that work together to make the chemical energy available for powering life processes of simple organisms like bacteria.
And just like everything else, if there are pros, there will be cons, and Europa is not an exception. Just to list some, the surface is blasted with radiation, and life on the surface wouldn't be powered by photosynthesis. The planet's extremely freezing temperature is also a challenge, and small meteorites can hit you from space. Lastly, ice quakes could happen every now and then, which can result in plumes of water shooting out of the ice.
We believe colonization of Europa is possible. It is already proven that Europa has the key chemical processes needed to support life. Though this life is more likely to be microbial life, it still gives us a glimpse of hope that Europa can support life. When it comes to the disadvantages of Europa, they can all be countered if you have the necessary technologies. The main problem for Europa is that its condition is not suitable for the human species. However, with genetic modification and cyborgization, human survival on Europa is likely possible. Another main concern with Europa is its geological structure. Products designed specifically for planet colonization can be the solution for this. In 300 years, it is plausible that we will have the technologies required for colonizing other planets or moons. If the technologies are indeed advanced enough for us to colonize Europa, we may have many uses for it. The main reasons we consider colonization of other planets or moons is because the Earth's condition and environment is worsening as time goes by. Earth will soon become inhabitable in the future. Therefore, colonization of other planets or moons will be necessary in order for humans to survive. Europa will most likely be used as a new place for humans to stay and for us to continue on as a species.